To my way of thinking, what is really hidden and not quite expressed in the national statistics is the fact that Europe is rich. Living standards are good, and people want to have fun in life. And one of the ways you have fun is you have leisure, you work less. If you work less, you produce less, and then economic growth slows down. But if we took account of leisure in a national income account, then actually growth would be considerably better than it really is. You know, when I talk to my European colleagues, the interesting thing is they're either just come back from vacation or they're just about to go to vacation. And I think that sort of symbolizes, I think, one of the things that's happening in Europe. The other factor, of course, is that there's an aging process of the population. The number of people in the working force relative to the people who are retired is going down, and that means participation rates are lower, and that too will affect GDP. But on the whole, you know, my sense is life in Europe today is probably better than almost anywhere else in the world. So have a wonderful time, everybody, and enjoy your riches.
I think in Europe we have a big problem too. We had catching up growth. First, we don't have a true single market. In fact, the European market is divided. You have the practice of gold plating. Each country, each member state has its own regulation. So we don't have the rents to innovators are not the same as in the US or China. We have a divided market, okay, for goods and services. So the second reason, we don't have a proper financial ecosystem for frontier innovation. For frontier innovation, you need to encourage risk-taking and venture capital, institutional and investors. We don't have enough of that in Europe.
I think Philippe is absolutely right about this. What is happening in the US, however, is something quite different, which is, I think there is a shift back from government funding to private funding of basic science. And I point to organizations, say, like the Gates Foundation, for instance, which is taking advantage of the emergence of enormous personal fortunes of people like, you know, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and Zuckerberg and so on and so forth. And basically, these people have amassed so much money that they can actually take care of the kind of funding that previously was done by things like the National Science Foundation and the National Institute of Health, which in recent years seems to have been cut back by Congress and by the executive. And in a way, that has profound implications for which direction science is going, but I probably wouldn't venture to say whether this is a positive or a negative development, depending on what these private people want. So I think the Gates Foundation has done incredibly good work on things like tropical diseases, for instance, and other things.
1985. This was funded through Lawrence Berkeley Lab. I moved to Google. Now I have my own startup, and then I have, you know, you have funding through the private sector. I think we have a wide variety of funding sources, but obviously, as you go to the DARPA or the private funding, that's going to be more directed research, trying to build a product. But, you know, still at the fundamental levels, that's always an issue. And I agree, long-term funding, it really would help you there.
Okay, we take another question. Yes, please.
Still, Japan, set up the 10 years funding. This is quite nice because the very fundamental achievement. Yeah. So in the science level, it's in the 25 years or so. So this achievement to the transfer to the society, it takes 25 years. So in the three categories, in the fundamental case, it should be the long-term funding. And the strategic case is just 5 years or so. So Japan is doing this type of having this type of categories. So I recommend many times I recommend the government to increase more fundamental research funding.
Okay, another question. Shall we take there?
I'll just give you a recent example. Google wrote a very nice paper a few weeks ago, and frankly, it was very hard for me to understand that paper. However, I did look at a Google notebook LLM to kind of translate and simplify. And I found that was quite good, kind of stripping out all the side issues and really getting to the issues. And I understood the paper much better.